Hi, I'm Scoot, and welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. Glad you're with us here. It's time for another Scoot story, and this is all part of the series, "The Truth Behind the Microphone." I want to talk about the Alice Cooper that I know. I just showed you a picture just a moment ago of actually, at the very beginning of this, you'll see the picture of Alice Cooper that we took a long time ago. Here's a picture of Alice and I, maybe a year ago. You know, it all started when Alice Cooper was the Grand Marshal of Endymion, and the Grand Marshal of Endymion is the big celebrity like king. And so Alice was Grand Marshal of the crew of Endymion in the '70s, and I had him on my show through the telephone, and in the studio with me was one of his managers, Joe Gannon. And Joe, after the conversation, after the show, Joe was kind of upset. And I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Well, he said, we can't find anybody to fit in the Cyclops outfit." The Cyclops was part of the Welcome to My Nightmare tour, one of the characters on Welcome to My Nightmare. And they wanted the Cyclops to ride on the float with Alice in Endymion. The Cyclops it was 10 feet tall. The costume rested on your shoulders, and you looked out through like the waist, the navel. There was like a screen where you looked out of the navel. So the monster was really tall, but they needed somebody like 5'7". And they said, "Do you know anybody 5'7"?" I'm 5'7". So they said, "Okay, you want to do it?" I said, "Sure." So that year, when Alice Cooper rode as the Grand Marshal of Endymion, I was the Cyclops behind him. And it was 4.5 hours of hell. But it was somehow fun. And that's how I first got to know him. Now, before Mardi Gras, I was with Joe Gannon, his manager, in the limousine to go pick up Alice and his wife, his new wife, Cheryl. He had just married Cheryl at the airport. And they were staying at the Marie Antoinette. I don't know which hotel that is now, but it's not the Marie Antoinette anymore. A lot of celebrities stayed there. Led Zeppelin stayed there a lot. And Alice Cooper was staying there. And I remember walking in, and he opened up the refrigerator, and every shelf on the refrigerator, front to back, was stacked with Budweiser. Now, Alice doesn't drink anymore, but he was drinking Budweiser. He's a big Budweiser drinker. And so his refrigerator was stocked with it. I remember Alice and Cheryl being so cute because, again, they had just recently been married. And, you know, I talked to Alice on the air, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and he and Cheryl are still married, which is great. So he's a little different today than he was back then, but he was always just, you know, a wonderful person. Alice was always on the conservative side politically. And I think he's even more politically conservative today. But Alice is very much like me in a lot of ways. He's conservative in a lot of ways, but when it comes to social issues, he can be more liberal. So anyway, Alice loves to play golf. And Alice had a day off. Okay, well, let's get to the parade. So we go to the parade, and we pull up in the limousine. We pull up at the parade, and so I get out. I get in the costume. So I'm in the costume. The crowd starts to get so crazy around the float that my wife at the time, Rachel, was in the limousine that had brought us there, and they were going to go take her somewhere else. Well, she got stuck in the parade, and everybody wanted to know if she was Miss Alice Cooper. Everybody kept coming, wanting to know if she was the new wife of Alice Cooper. And of course, you know, she wasn't, but she got stuck in the parade with me. So it was 4.5 hours in that Cyclops outfit. And I'll never forget when we got to, at the time, it was the River Gate, which is where Harrah's Casino is in downtown New Orleans now. But it was the River Gate. It was a big convention center. And that's where the ball was after the parade. It's more exhausting than you think, especially if you're a celebrity and you know the focus is on you and you just feel people taking from you. You feel people just training you. It is truly exhilarating and truly exhausting. So Alice came up to me after and he goes, Scoot, thank you. I owe you. And then that was Sunday. No, that was Saturday night. It was Saturday night. Alice had stayed in town for a couple of days and he wanted to play golf. He's an avid golfer. So Lakewood Country Club was closed on Mondays. I managed to get Lakewood Country Club to open up so Alice could play golf alone on the golf course. It was like a foursome. It was Alice, his manager, Joe Gannon, a friend of mine, Vincent Dana, and I forgot who else. I drove the golf cart with the beer. I was there, but I'm not a golfer. But I drove the golf cart with the beer. So I was really very, very popular. Where's the beer? Where's the golf cart with the beer? Boom, Scoot was there. So anyway, that was fun. Alice Cooper, in that round of golf, got a hole in one. In fact, he was talking to friends about that, I guess weeks after. And to confirm that he got a hole in one, he called my friend Vincent. And he got Vincent on the phone and said, Vincent, tell my friends what happened. So Alice was being making sure that this was verified by Vincent that he got a hole in one on one of the holes. So that was pretty amazing. I appreciate you joining me here on the Scoot on the Air Facebook page. I'm sorry, this is Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. And again, I remind you that we're getting some set pieces and we're going to have a set, one day soon. Also, if you haven't done it yet, I hope you will order the Scoot on the Air coffee mug with the official Scoot on the Air SOTA logo on it. And 100% of the proceeds from the coffee mug is going to a local charity. And I'm talking to one now, and I'll have it confirmed early next week. But anybody that buys one up to this point, 100% of the profits are going to the charity. And it's going to be a charity that is relatable to the pandemic and what we're dealing with now in New Orleans and across America. And you can find that. It's on my website, Scoot on the Air. And also join me, Instagram, Scoot on the Air, and also SOTA, Facebook as well. But Alice Cooper, and then talking to Alice years later. In fact, the picture that you'll see, I did a picture on the shot that goes with this video, so you'll see it. I ran into Alice again in the mid '90s, and then talked to him and met him again. I don't know, a year or two ago, maybe, playing at Beau Rivage on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And in my long conversation with Alice on the air, Alice has changed. He's he's kind of a born again Christian. And I asked him if what he does on stage, the violence, the macabre, the dark things he does on stage, if that contradicts his Christian faith. And he said, Scoot, no, it doesn't. He said, that's just entertainment. And I know a lot of people would be critical. A lot of Christians would be critical of that. I don't think that's hypocritical at all. I totally agree with him. And I think it's cool that he can separate the two. I mean, he's not doing anything. Look, to do dark, macabre things, that's not necessarily anti-Christian. And what Alice does in his stage show is not really anti-Christian. It's just wild rock. And one thing I always appreciated about Alice Cooper was that, he was wild before Marilyn Manson came around. He was like an original. And the fact that he's still performing today is amazing to me. It is early 70s now. And just a really, really good guy. all the way around, a really good guy. Doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. I never knew about him ever doing drugs. He used to drink a lot of beer, but just a really, a really good guy. And if you get a chance to see him when we all go back to concerts again, Alice will be on tour again. I hope you get a chance to go see him. I'll try and find the radio interview that I did with him and play it back on the show maybe one day next week. Because maybe one of the things that I can start doing on my radio show is I can start playing back some of the interviews that I've done with rockers and celebrities to just kind of break things up a little bit. Here's a message from Kim, who is in Dallas tuning in. Hey, Kim, glad you're with us. Shatney says, received my mug yesterday. Cool, Shatney. Thank you. And the proceeds are going to a local charity. Debbie says, you have amazing stories, lots to share with your grandkids. Make sure you do. Yes, I will. I definitely will. And I want to share them with you as well. So, every Saturday, I post on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And Monday is Manic Monday. It's just kind of a repeat of, I don't know, repeat, but it's just the highlights of what happened over the weekend and what's going on at the beginning of the week. Then Wednesday is the truth behind the microphone, where I reveal something about the media from, my perspective behind the microphone. And then Saturday night is a Scoot story. And so tonight I just wanted to share with you Alice Cooper then, Alice Cooper now, and just really not much of a change in who he is, just a really, really cool person. Kim says, I hung out with Alice Cooper in the early 70s while he was in New Orleans. He was here a lot. And I mentioned this on the air the other day because we were talking about concerts. And I mentioned at the Alice Cooper concert, City Park Stadium in New Orleans, somebody was passing around a joint. I swear. Let me show you exactly what the joint looked like. This is exactly what the joint looked like. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, this giant thing gets passed to me. I mean, it was this big. It was this freaking big. Anyway, I think I might have taken a hit off of it, but I did not bogart it. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for supporting Scoot on the Air, SOTA. We're going to make this. We're going to make this really cool. Oh, my brother Miles is checking in now. Miles says, "I got my SOTA mugs last week. They are great." Thank you, brother. I picked it. I'm very particular about my mugs, and so it was like it's thin. I like the style of this particular mug. And again, it's got the official logo on it. We're going to do some more merchandise coming up. And again, we're still working on the set. It's not going to be fancy or anything that outrageous, but I just want to have a little bit of a set here. So anyway, love sharing these stories with you. One day I'll tell the story about running into Bret Michaels at a wedding. It has an adult theme to it. But it was pretty crazy. It was. I still can't tell the story backstage with Kiss because, if I tell these stories, nobody's ever going to let me backstage again. So it was quite an interesting scene. That's the story I still can't tell, but I can share others with you. I'm Scoot. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Love you guys.